That back there is a Fallen Gnat, and the Fallen Gnat was a nice little aircraft. It was designed to be lightweight, super lightweight, but it could do ground attack, and it was like a little bit of a fighter aircraft as well. It was armed with a couple of Aiden cannons. I think they were 30 mils, might need to check that. You could put a couple of 500-pound bombs on it, or you could put, I think it was 12 30mm rockets on it, something like that. In fact, there's a sign that says it right here, so I could just read the sign. Yeah, 12 3-inch rockets, 2 500-pound bombs, or yeah, it was 2 30mm Aiden cannons. I knew a thing. Yeah, but the idea was this thing was supposed to be a lightweight little aircraft that you could use in an attack role, ground attack role for ground support. But it was really lightweight, so you could deploy it quickly, you could run it on a very simple maintenance budget, all that kind of stuff. And there was even a mad cat plan to stick 3 of these on the bottom of a Vulcan bomber so that the Vulcan would act like a mummy bird, and then 3 of these would be strapped to the bottom, and then if they found themselves getting tangled up by Russian interceptors, 3 of these would drop off and swarm in and try and fight off the threat. And then the idea was they would then try and fly back to Germany, or they would eject and try and find their way out by other means. They couldn't reattach to the Vulcan once they detached, but that was the idea. The Vulcan would be a carrier. That never ended up being a thing, and probably for good reasons. But I'm not necessarily going to get into that today. What I'm actually going to get into is this thing over here, which was the power plant for the Fallen Gnat, and that was a Bristol Sidney Orpheus. And it's a bit of an unusual jet engine. So it's a jet turbine engine, but it's not quite the same as a lot of the other, well, it's not the same as the big engines that we've looked at for some of the other aircraft. So part of the specs of this engine was that it needed to be very lightweight. And I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about what they did to make it work like that, but only on the channels that support long form content. So if we're on TikTok, that means this is where this video comes to an end.